The next morning, Helen went to Sophie's room to wake her and Jacob up and call them for breakfast. As she opened the door, she saw both of them sleeping peacefully on their respective beds. Jacob was sleeping on his back, completely wrapped up in the duvet, whereas Sophie was sleeping on her side, on the edge of the bed, with her blanket on the floor. Helen was about to turn to walk away and give them a little longer to sleep when her eyes fell on the rest of the room. The whole room was a mess, with empty pillowcases dumped in a corner, and all their insides scattered around the room as if it had been hit by a tornado. "What the hell?" she yelled loudly. She knew they were playfully fighting last night, but didn't expect them to trash the whole room. Her scream startled both of them awake and made Sophie fall down from the bed. They both sat up immediately and sleepily looked at Helen to find out what the commotion was all about. "What is this? Who will clean all this up now?" Helen shouted again, pointing around the room. Helen was an extremely sweet woman, but she was also a teenager's mother, and at this moment, she felt like she had not one, but two teenagers in her house. Jacob and Sophie followed her line of sight, and all their sleepy haze flew out of the window. They slept so late last night that it didn't even occur to them to clean up. "We're so sorry, Mom. We'll clean it up," Sophie said. She knew her mother could be pretty intimidating when she needed to. "Damn right you will. Both of you, get to it at once and get ready afterwards. Be downstairs in 30 minutes or you'll be late for school. Jacob, you can get freshened up in the other washroom," Helen ordered and left. Jacob and Sophie gave each other a look and sighed before getting up and collecting as many feathers as they could in the limited time. After breakfast, Dracon, who was driving Sophie to school, offered Jacob a ride to his dorm, but he politely declined the offer. For one, his college was not on the way, and he didn't want Dracon to take a detour. Secondly, the expensive car would attract too much attention, as the campus would be crowded at this time, and he didn't need any more rumors about himself than he already had. On the bus, he looked out the window and enjoyed the cool morning breeze. He recalled everything that had happened the previous night and smiled. Sophie and he were worlds apart, and yet somehow they fit together really well. When Jacob reached his stop, he walked to his dorm very slowly, not yet ready to get back to his classmates, whispering about him as if he was either a celebrity or a criminal. As expected, the dorms were buzzing with life as everyone was getting ready for their morning classes. As he was on the way to his building and was just about to turn a corner, he heard two girls' voices. He immediately recognized them from one of his classes. One of them was Kathy's roommate. He was about to leave without paying much attention to them when he heard them mention his name. This caught his interest, and he decided to listen to what they were talking about. He remained hidden by the wall in between, and they were talking freely, not having noticed him. After obtaining a breakthrough to the second level of the spirit concentration scroll, Jacob's hearing had become sharper, and as he focused, he was able to hear their conversation clearly. "Kathy has gotten really close with Jacob lately. I bet that is because she thinks he's from a rich family," one of them said. "That's nonsense. Kathy's my roommate, and I know her well. I don't think she's that kind of a person. We talk about the guys in our class all the time. Even before the fight, she had always said that Jacob is a nice guy," Kathy's roommate clarified. "Oh, so does that mean Kathy has always had a crush on Jacob?" The other girl became interested as she was getting quality gossip. Kathy's roommate shook her head and replied, "Not really. She was only saying that he was a good guy. I don't think she meant anything by it." "So doesn't that prove what I just said?" The other girl curled her lips and continued, "She didn't like him before, but now that she knows he has a wealthy family, she's trying to be close to him. Like I said, I don't think Kathy is that kind of person." She continued to defend Kathy. "Besides, didn't the other boys say that Jacob belongs to an ordinary family? The fancy cars that came to pick him up were all sent by the family of the high school girl he's tutoring. In fact, it was Riley, from our class, who was the most excited when the Mercedes-Benz and the limo showed up to pick up Jacob, and she kept saying that she was going to approach him for a date. But soon after she found out that the cars did not belong to Jacob's family, She backed off immediately, didn't she? After listening to their conversation, Jacob was able to get a glimpse of how he was being talked about amongst the girls of his class. That's true, the other girl nodded. Knowing the kind of girl Riley is, and how she made no moves after she found out about Jacob's real background, there is no reason for Kathy to be oblivious to the fact that Jacob is from an ordinary family. Right, and I think Kathy's a good person. The only thing is that she studies too hard and takes things too seriously, but she is definitely not materialistic like Riley. Soon, they began to walk away while continuing their conversation. Even with Jacob's keen hearing, he could not make out what they were saying anymore. Kathy is seen as a gold digger by some girls because she has been close to me lately. Our class sure loves to gossip, Jacob thought quietly. He was really getting frustrated with everything that was happening with him and Kathy lately. She was a good friend, but if they hung out more, people would just keep on spreading rumors about them and drag both of their names through the mud, especially hers. He knew Kathy wouldn't like it one bit, as being the head girl, she was pretty serious about her reputation, and wouldn't like being a subject of college gossip. Looking at the time, Jacob realized that Kathy might come out of the girls' dormitory at any moment to ride her bike to class. He immediately sped up and reached his building at once. He was afraid to run into her right now. When he reached his dorm, Sam and his other two roommates were causing a commotion while freshening up by the sink in the common washroom. Jacob could hear their jeering from the staircase. What are these guys up to now? Jacob went into their room, grabbed his towel and other stuff he needed to get ready, and made his way to the washroom.
Jacob, you just came in? We were hoping we could all play games together yesterday.
Jacob's arrival caused them to make an even bigger uproar. Be honest, what did you do this weekend? Since your face is glowing, I bet you've spent time with a girl. With a towel on his shoulder, one of the guys walked over and wrapped his arm around Jacob's shoulder. Watching the noisy bunch fooling around, Jacob's mood was instantly lightened. If I told you guys that I went for a tour of the Dragon Palace on the weekend, I don't think you would believe me, Jacob thought to himself. But they didn't really wait for his answer, and went on to talk about their own weekends and kept joking around. After the four of them finished freshening up, they gathered their books and started walking down the stairs, side by side. When they got out of the dorm building, they found Kathy waiting outside. In her hands, there was an immaculately clean jacket, the one Jacob had lent her on Friday. Thanks for the jacket on Friday. I've washed and dried it for you, she said as she walked up and handed the jacket to Jacob. Uh-oh. One of the guys began to mock and had his mouth covered by Sam's hand immediately. However, it was enough for Kathy to feel embarrassed. Blushing, she hopped onto her bike and paddled away in a hurry. Kathy is actually quite cute, his other roommate concluded as they watched her riding away on her bike. Jacob was speechless as he held his jacket in his hand. He had long forgotten that he had given his jacket to Kathy.
Looks like you might have a chance. Go for it,
Sam said as he subtly elbowed Jacob. She was just here to return a jacket. Do you guys really have to make a big fuss about it? Jacob gave the others a hard stare and promptly put the jacket on. Come on, let's get to the cafeteria, he said, and started walking.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.